Now, I think, of course, micro-living and student housing are much closer together in Germany than in the UK, for example. We have in our student homes, if you like, we also have a third of young professionals. So, I mean, what we are looking for in Germany are brain hubs. There was a big study showing that there's these universities which grow technology centers around them, and those are seen as brain hubs, and a lot of people want to live there, and they want to rent housing there, normal housing, but also micro-living. Yeah? So for us, we focus on these about 20 brain hubs, university cities in Germany.
The point about is it different between a student or multifamily or senior, the way we think about it is the operating platform necessary to operate the assets is agnostic to the age of the resident. But the product and the service has to be tailored to the specific demographic. So in a way, we can build an operating platform with all the systems, technology, and people, and then have strategies for each segment of the income-producing residential space, depending on its point in the economic cycle or the opportunity. And so I think from a macro perspective, that's our strategy, and we're applying that globally. And I think when you look at the opportunity in Europe, there are some markets where you really have a wonderful student opportunity, but yet the multifamily opportunity isn't as strong. And you have some markets, I'd put the UK in this bucket, where there's a very strong student, multifamily, PRS, and senior living opportunity. And so, I think what makes us, very encouraged about building a big scalable business in Europe, because for us that is very, very important. It has to be large and it has to be scalable, that we see lots of different opportunities across different cities and different countries with regards to applying all those, those three strategies.
Just one warning for the so-called investment boom in the secondary cities, especially in student housing. It's possible a hype, and you see many of these cities cannot keep the students when they finish the study for jobs. And then there could be an end on this hype. And then I really recommend look at sustainable housing, not only on an energy point of view, but also on the usability of the houses. In many of the middle-sized cities, there's a large demand for elderly people who really want for new housing. So if you make a kind of small housing, small not only for a student size, but also maybe for a single person, maybe 65, 70 years old, want to sell his single-family house in his medium-sized town, and can maybe it's the second generation that can use this housing stock he's now building for students. So more sustainable, not for one target group, but use them for different target groups. Then maybe it's a better investment.
And I think just to add on that, I think the rents being charged is quite important. You can't only offer one kind of product in a secondary city, like 600 euros. That probably doesn't work. You need to offer different rent brackets from 300 euros to 500 and 500 to 600 euros. So you have a broader spectrum of people who can rent with you. Yeah.